Welcome to the TMZ podcast. I'm Charlie Neff.
I'm Charlie Cotton.
And our next guest was one of the contestants from Matt James's season of The Bachelor. She also returned to the franchise for the 7th season of Bachelor in Paradise. Now she's a social media influencer. Welcome, Anna Redman. Woo-woo!
Hi.
How are you, Anna? Where are you right now? Where are we speaking from?
Currently in Vienna, and it is absolutely stunning here.
Wow. So we know that you're on a European trip, which kind of started off with the wrong foot. There was some controversy.
Yes.
You got in some hot water after you posted a breakdown on social media of your outfits for your upcoming European trip. And one of the days detailed what your outfit plan was for Auschwitz. Obviously, this is a concentration camp where unspeakable horrors took place. What was your backstory behind the post?
Yeah. So just for context, we have been on this Eastern European trip to bring Chris, my boyfriend's dad, back to Poland for the first time since he moved to America 50 years ago. So this has been quite the trip to plan. It's about 2.5 weeks. And Chris and I have been doing all the legwork of planning. We wanted this to be just not a very cool experience for his dad to come back and see his hometown and homeland. And Auschwitz was on the itinerary because of Chris's dad's uncle actually was executed there at Block 11, and he wanted to go pay respects. So it's always been on our itinerary to go. So when I was packing and planning, I just wanted everything to go so smoothly. And one of my biggest things is I take way too long in the morning to get ready, and I always overpack and all those things. So I saw this TikTok hack for packing, and it's basically taking your itinerary and then pre-planning all your outfits to pack. So you have everything you need, no extras. And then also getting ready in the morning takes 2 seconds because don't want to keep them waiting. And I thought this hack was cool, did it myself, did save me a lot of room. And I screen recorded the final hack, which was just my notes app, included all the 2.5 weeks of days that were here. And I put it on my story to be like, look at this packing hack. Look how great it is. It's saving me so much room. It got screenshotted and kind of taken out of context that I was doing an OOTD for Auschwitz or even overly planning, overly styling. And that was never the context. That was never the intention. Of course, I had to plan something for that day because you're packing and I don't have my whole closet when you're on the road. So had to put something in the bag for that day. Yeah, but that's basically the only context. It was never, ever to make light or disrespect. It just was on our itinerary, and that's how to pack. I should have probably scrubbed it from the video beforehand, but it just kind of got lost in everything. But yeah, I apologize to everyone that saw it and was like, I am so sorry. This definitely came off as frivolous or flippant and it didn't show as much respect and the amount of planning and the amount of work that went into going there. It didn't show that at all. So I apologized for all of that and for anyone that took pain from it, because that's definitely not what I want on my platform. I just want to be helpful,
right,
and share good things.
I think there's just this narrative around influencers that they don't care about where they are. They just care about getting the right photo in the cutest outfit with the best lighting. So I think the context that people took it as is, it wasn't like, oh, for this day, for this city, I'm going to wear this. It was literally said Auschwitz and then the cute dress, So I think people were like, oh my gosh, it's not even about going to that location and taking it in. It's more about I'm going to wear this cute midi dress. I think that's how, people online were observing it.
Mm-hmm.
What was some of the backlash like for you when people caught on to this?
Yeah. Well, backlash was never great ever. I think it was more just me wanting people to understand. I think there was a lot of different narratives online about what I did and what I didn't do. And I think it was frustrating because definitely the intent was misinterpreted as well. And I think most people who know me know I wouldn't do that. Also, again, we're on a family trip. This was never going to be a content trip. It was never about that. It was about making this a really enjoyable but also important trip for Chris's family. And so I think it hurt me, it hurt his family, it hurt everyone to see all this happening, but also like I understood the backlash completely, and
like were you
thus
getting,
I issued an apology.
were you getting death threats, or what were people oh my gosh, like what were people
I think
saying?
there was a lot of 50-50. A lot of people I got a lot of messages even from like the Jewish community being like, thank you so much for not hiding that you're going, and being respectful and actually and picking a respectful outfit. And some people took it as what I intended it to be, of just like, this is what I'm planning to do. And then there was also the messages that are like, you should have died, or hope they kill you when you're there. And I'm just like, whoa,
wow,
it's a lot. Which I don't think I actually don't believe in like eye for an eye or killing people at all. So like getting that over what I intended to be a helpful hacking hack was just a lot, and it was really heavy. So
yeah, that's
definitely turned off the
extreme.
phone and try to put it away.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, I totally see where you're coming from in that, you know, you just like to show people your life and this is what I'm packing, and, you know, maybe you should have thought more about the Auschwitz one, but you just weren't thinking because you're just packing. Sure. Did you end up going to Auschwitz, or like how did the rest of the sort of story of this whole play out?
We went on as normal per our itinerary. We're really trying to not let it affect or even like let Chris's parents know that this is happening. But yeah, went there, paid our respects. It was a very heavy day, as I think anyone can assume. But just like having the extra layer on top of it of being like, this is Chris's parents are obviously Polish, and on top of the atrocities that happened to the Jewish community there, there were the second largest population death was Polish people. So seeing like Chris's dad there where his uncle died, and you see where he was executed, and it's just like it's a lot. So the day was super heavy. But after that, the rest of the trip, we got to take him back to his hometown. We got to see Poland. It's absolutely gorgeous. Everyone should add it to their list. More influencers should go to Poland and show it off because it's stunning. And yeah, we're about halfway through our trip currently. So like I said, we're in Vienna, and then we're gonna finish out in Rome because his parents have never actually been back to Europe. So we wanted to show them Italy, and then we're flying out.
Did going to the concentration camp give you like a better understanding of why some people were so outraged, even though it was just like a flippant sort of mistake? Maybe did going there and like going through like what everyone must have felt when they were there, did that give you more insight?
Yeah, obviously I always knew what happened there, but I think it's the weight of being there, and you're in these rooms and you're like, how could people do this? Like like I keep saying, it's just because I don't know another word for it, but it's just so heavy. And it also kind of puts it into a timeline. I have a hard time picturing timelines just in general, but to be like, this did not happen that long ago at all. Like you see these things and you're like, oh, this wall kind of looks like my school wall growing up. Like it doesn't look like, I think when you're taught this, you're like, oh, this happened so long ago. Well, like when I'm a kid learning about this, you picture like medieval buildings and you're like, no, these are like modern day buildings that this happened in. So I think that contextualized the timeline more so for me, of just being like, holy cow, I can't believe the numbers of people. And again, like you're there, so it feels so real, and it feels just really icky. Like, well, obviously, but
very heavy.
very heavy, and very much like it's just sad. It's really sad. And you're looking at all these people's faces and you're like, these are all people. We're all people. Like, this should have never happened. This should never happen again. And this should have never happened.
So, obviously with your post, it was not meant to be something where you're showing off your outfit that you're going to wear for concentration camp. Your intent was not to be malicious, not to be, ignore what happened there. But,
Yeah.
you did delete the post, you did apologize. Was there anything else that you did maybe afterwards? Did you meet with a rabbi? Did you speak to somebody about it? Or, did you have any time of reflection after? Did anything change after you took the post down and apologized?
Yeah, I've had multiple conversations with people online who have come into my inbox with either kind words or helpful words. Like I said, some you just kind of have to ignore that are too aggressive. Multiple conversations, and then obviously taking that day and really reflecting and paying and memorializing and paying respects to everyone that died there. So yeah.
Nice.
And like having sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go on.
Having these conversations, it's always been this balance of like, I obviously should have been way more respectful. And it's like weird because I think being an influencer, you're always just trying to share what you're doing. But like I should have paused and like recognized what I was sharing. But it's always like this weird amount of people want you to post and want you to talk about your experience, but it's just doing it in the correct way. And I think that's what I really learned with having conversations with people.
But people are so quick to try to cancel someone because of a mistake too, and define them as a person by this one little error of judgment.
And to be fair too, when you go to a concentration camp or, even like to certain places, right? Like a church maybe, or a funeral, like you do want to be mindful about what you're wearing. You want to be kind of conservative. You don't want to be flashy. You want to be like, you have to dress respectful. And from what I remember, the dress that you posted was actually pretty respectful. Is that the dress you ended up wearing?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things to consider. Again, I was also doing research. I keep bringing them up, but Chris's parents and like letting her know what to pack and everything and doing research. Like it's 92 degrees out. It's very open, not a lot of shade. So I was relaying these messages to her too and being like, make sure to wear something light, but be respectful, obviously. And then even when you book these trips, they come with a whole like what to pack guide. So like you can't bring big bags, to pack sunscreen, comfortable shoes, flowy or breathable clothes in the summer because people can faint out there just because it gets so hot. So yeah, there's a lot of things to think about. And I think that's where my head was more so than anything else. It was not about the outfits. It was just trying to be prepared and trying to like make sure everything went as smoothly as possible when I'm planning something so important for other people.
A bit of a change of direction, but you're on this 2.5 week trip. Where else have you been? And most importantly, what's the best thing you've eaten while you've been traveling?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, we've had so much good food. Polish food is a lot. Also, I think I've been discussing this with, so sorry, I'll answer that first question. Where we've mostly been in Poland. We did Warsaw, which was awesome. Krakow, which was my, I think, favorite European city I've seen. Krakow is so gorgeous and so cool. And it feels breezy and comfortable. Like Rome's amazing, but Rome is like very crowded and tight and
it's like all Americans.
But this just like, I kept saying I could live here, I feel like I say that everywhere, but Krakow is amazing. And then Zakopane is kind of like, I would equate it to like a Vail type situation or Aspen.
Okay.
Now they've turned it more into that, but it's definitely like a ski mountain town. It's changed a lot in the 50 years since Chris's dad moved from Zakopane region to the United States. So we were always talking about the differences, but Zakopane is beautiful. I think best food. I really like, I'm going to probably butcher the name, but Zurich, it's their sour soup. And so I'd have that like every meal as my starter. And then
you'd pick a sour soup as your number one. You'd have it as every meal. You're in Europe. Come on.
Sounds good.
Sour soup.
Well,
yeah.
It's Polish food does lean sour and it's very meat heavy. And I don't eat a lot of meat, even though I was eating meat there.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is like they're known for their cheese, especially in the mountain region. I always say it wrong too. I kept calling it Ozempic by accident, but it's Oshempic. It's something.
Oh, wow.
I have a really hard time pronouncing it, but it's like a sheep's milk cheese. And we went on like this hunt for the best one all day, and we're driving through the mountains, and like you go into these little houses, and they make it for you, and then you try it, and it's fabulous. But
that sounds amazing.
We got to Vienna late last night, so we've had all day to explore, and then we go on to Rome.
Fantastic.
Awesome. And obviously you're there on a trip with your boyfriend who's also from the Bachelor franchise. You guys have been together for a while now. Are you seeing?
Yeah.
And I think you guys live together, right?
Yeah, we moved in after like 6 months of dating. It was pretty quick.
Is there marriage in your future?
Probably. We're already domestic partners. Like we filled out that paperwork.
Okay.
I always tell him like I've been fiercely independent my whole life. I'm like, I'm not getting married before I'm 30. You have to be on my timeline. because obviously we talk about it and we plan everything for the future and make all big decisions together. But just currently when it comes to hierarchy of planning things and making sure you have enough brain space for everything, I've just been focusing on my business currently, but definitely talk about future things.
Well, you seem very happy. So marriage, maybe.
Is that your business, the Subtle House?
Yes.
Right. I see that you're raising a lot of money as well. That's fantastic.
Yeah. You guys raised 1.5 or a little over $1,500 for a local Chicago women's shelter. It's pretty amazing. What's your guys' mission?
So we actually are a creative co-working space. My background is in creative advertising. I worked on that end of the creative field for a while. And when I went freelance and then I went into content creation, I really craved like a WeWork space, but that didn't feel corporate. So kind of made it for myself and other people in Chicago. And our amenities are like a photography studio, podcast studio. We have in-house photography that comes with the membership. But because that's what we do during the day, on the weekends and nights, we do some events. So we just did a local closet sale and all the ticket proceeds went to the local shelter. So Fantastic. It was pretty amazing to be able to give back. And we hope to be doing more things like that in the future.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on and joining us in the middle of your vacation.
I know. I'm kind of jealous. I wish I was there right now.
I know.
Spend the day in Austria. It's awesome.
Come.
Yeah. All right, Anna, thank you so much for joining us. And everybody at home, don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.